Gucci. It's more than just a brand. It's a symbol of luxury, power, and flawless style. But few know that behind this shine lies one of the darkest stories in fashion. A story where money turned family into enemies, where love became hatred, and where a single bullet ended an entire dynasty. But who pulled the trigger? And more importantly, why? The story of Gucci: fashion, money, and murder. It all began in Florence in 1921. A young leather craftsman named Guccio Gucci opened a tiny shop. He sold leather suitcases and handbags, but his products stood apart. Guccio had once worked in London as a porter at the Savoy Hotel. There, he saw the luggage carried by wealthy guests, royal families, bankers, movie stars, and he realized one simple truth: the rich were willing to pay any price for quality and style. So that's what he created. Returning to Florence, he built a workshop where every bag, every suitcase was made entirely by hand. These weren't just items, they were status. Gucci quickly became famous in Italy, and by the 1950s, across the entire world. The iconic green and red stripe, leather bags with bamboo handles, loafers with a metal buckle, all became symbols of elegance. European royalty began to wear Gucci, and soon after, Hollywood, Jacqueline Kennedy, Sophia Loren, Elizabeth Taylor, each appeared with Gucci handbags. But behind every success lies a shadow. Because Gucci was never just a brand, Gucci was a family. And where there is family and great wealth, there is always conflict. A conflict that would soon lead not only to the fall of an empire, but to the murder of its heir. It seemed that Gucci had only a bright future ahead. The brand was loved by royal families, Hollywood, influential politicians. But the real war did not begin on the runway. It began inside the family. After the founder's death, the company was inherited by his sons. Instead of working together, they turned the firm into an arena for battle. The leading role was played by the eldest son, Aldo Gucci. He was charismatic and ambitious. It was Aldo who took Gucci beyond Italy, opened boutiques in New York and London, and made the GG logo recognizable worldwide. But his brothers refused to accept that Aldo controlled the business. Inside the family came quarrels, scandals, and betrayal. Imagine this: your own nephew reporting you to the US tax authorities. That's exactly what happened to Aldo. In 1986, he ended up behind bars, accused of tax evasion. And all of this thanks to betrayal from within. By then, Gucci was no longer just a brand. It was a battlefield. Brothers, nephews, uncles, all fighting for power. And in this chaotic war, a new player entered the stage: young Maurizio Gucci. He was the grandson of the founder and the family's last hope. Educated, handsome, ambitious. It seemed he could reconcile the family and restore the brand's former glory. But with him came a woman who would become the very symbol of the dynasty's downfall. Maurizio met her in Milan during student parties. Her name was Patrizia Reggiani. She wasn't from high society, but her ambitions were enormous. Her friends called her the Little Lady Gucci. She dreamed of wealth, of power, of shining on the red carpets. And when Maurizio, heir to Gucci, entered her life, she saw not only love, but also opportunity. They married, and all of Italy started talking about the new star couple. Maurizio and Patrizia seemed perfect. Together, they planned to take full control of the Gucci empire, and they succeeded. Maurizio bought out his relatives and became the sole owner of the company. But conquering power is one thing. Keeping it is another. Maurizio turned out to be a poor businessman. He spent millions on luxury, signed shady deals, surrounded himself with flatterers and advisors who only made things worse. By the late 80s, Gucci was losing the market, debts were growing, and the brand's reputation was collapsing. And in this very moment, Maurizio made another fatal mistake. He left Patrizia. For her, it wasn't just betrayal. It was the destruction of her status, her dream, her life. From a beloved wife, she became the Black Widow, and her hatred grew day by day. She could never forgive Maurizio for stripping her of power, and in her mind, a plan was born, a plan that would end in blood. Maurizio wakes up in his apartment. He drinks his morning coffee, takes his briefcase, and steps outside. It was just an ordinary day. He walks to the office, unaware that he is being watched. On the staircase, a man appears. 4 gunshots, the heir of Gucci, falls onto the cold, stone steps. The world is in shock. Newspapers write, Gucci heir murdered in Milan. Who could have wanted him dead? There were many theories. The mafia. Rivals betrayed business partners. It seemed Maurizio had too many enemies. But the truth was even darker. The answer was much closer. The one who ordered the murder once sat at the same table with him and called him beloved husband. 2 years later, the investigation uncovers a conspiracy. The one who ordered the murder was Patrizia Reggiani. She did not hide her motives: jealousy, greed, fear of losing her status. In court, they called her the Black Widow of Gucci, and the entire trial turned into a show. Patrizia arrived in expensive outfits, with a smile, as if it were a fashion show. She felt no guilt. In 1997, the court sentenced her to 29 years in prison. Her daughters turned away from her. The family collapsed, and the Gucci brand finally slipped from the dynasty's hands. In 1999, control of the company passed to a corporation, and today, Gucci shines again on the catwalks. But behind this glamour lies a story that reminds us. Later, the sentence was reduced, but her name remained forever, a symbol of greed and betrayal. Even the most beautiful empires can be built on blood. Gucci, fashion, money, murder.